paint the bonnet, I needed to remove the, ideally remove the bumper and the front valance, but also I needed to sort of refresh the bumper a little bit and respray the valances as well. For that I used my Spitfire manual. Now generally these manuals are very, very good. It's really nice, simple explanations. Some of the stuff on the bumper was a little bit hit and miss, so I thought it'd be useful to do a video on how I took it off. Of course, this is a GT6 bumper on a Spitfire 4, and it's a GRP one. Bonnet, GRP bonnet on a Spitfire 4 Mark 4. So yours may be slightly different, but I thought it'd be useful to go through the process because it's not abundantly clear in the manual where some of the fixings are. They're kind of squirreled away. So what I've done is I've done one side. Rather than me videoing me actually doing it, which you wouldn't be able to see very much of what was going on, I've done one side and we're going to have a look at where the bolts are mounted whilst all the stuff is actually off the car. So I have a brew and some Jaffa cakes. Let's get started. So here we are in the book, and the first stage is to remove the underriders. Removing the 4 bolts, spring washers and plain washers. So just above that section in the manual you'll see underriders, removal and refit. Remove 1 screw and plain washer, which is underneath there, and the 3 bolts, spring washers and plain washers. And this is where it's not abundantly, or it wasn't abundantly clear to me anyway, but then I'm stupid, so. So I'll show you the underrider and the bit on the car where that's attached onto. So here's one of the underriders. They're just a fiberglass type thing. As you can see on the bottom there, a screw goes through there, sort of machine screw into a captive holder. Then you've got 2 on the top which fasten on, so those need taking off. This bit here attaches onto the grille, kind of, what side is that? That's that side. Kind of like that. So the grille also has to come off, but that needed to come off anyway for the painting. Something like that, you get the idea. Is it that way around? So this attaches onto there, like so. Okay, you can see how it all fits together there. So that means the grille has also got to come off. And that is fixed through a wheel up screw here. Hole here. You can just about see that on there, I think. And that attaches onto the bracket here. Now that was seized onto the bumper, that wasn't coming off, so I had to remove these 2 nuts. Well, not these 2 because they're new, the 2 that were there before, and then remove the grill in the garage where I could get to it properly and get some decent pressure on it. Then painted, sprayed that. And then put that in the blast cabinet, cleaned it all up, put it back on. So here is the front bumper. You can see the mounting points there, and it goes into that captive thread just there. Same on the other side, and then you have 2 bolts, 1 on each side, on the side of the bumper as well. Again, captive threads, they just screw through there. Now the front valance, they call it a spoiler in the book, and they show it as being a 1-piece item. Mine isn't. Mine's 3 pieces. You've got 2 corners and then a separate centrepiece. So here's the left-hand corner piece, the inside edge, and you can see, hopefully, you've got your mountings there for your screws and so on, and then a mounting there which goes onto a bracket, which we'll show you in a sec. And then the centre section here, again you've got, that is for the bracket that I showed you originally, and then you've got a couple of end pieces there and there, and those are just number plate mounting points. If we look at the side that I haven't done yet, there's your bracket holding that in place. Screws onto there, and the side, and then you've got another bracket on the bottom there, which also screws onto the side here. That's all got to be redone, so I took the bracket off on the other side and glass cabinet, and away we go. This is the side that I've already done, just for the sake of comparison. Now, to remove the headlight cowl, that's in a different part of the book. It's in the headlight section rather than the bodywork section, and it comes under the actually removing the whole headlight. So we only want the first parts. Remove the nuts, spring washers and plain washers. Remove the 2 bolts, spring washers and plain washers. Lift off the headlamp surround. Okay, so there he is. Now, I didn't want to remove the headlamp itself, just the surround. So we'll have a quick look at that and see where those parts are. So here's your headlamp surround, and you can see that you've got various threaded holes in the back to attach it on with. Okay, now we'll have a quick look on the car and see where those are located. This had me thinking for a little bit because of course you've got the inner wing structure here, so it doesn't look as though you can get to it. What you have to do is get your hand right down the back of the light here, and the hole is down there where the bolt comes through, and then you've got another one on the side just here. So those ones are a little bit tricky to find, but once you've got them, they come off nice and easy, and yeah, it'll drop off without any problems. So that's a real whistle-stop tour of taking the front end off. As you can see, it's not terribly complicated, it's just trying to find the bits. And some of them will be a bit seized up as well. I'm using copper slip on a lot of those captive nuts just to make sure that they're going to be, next time, they'll come off a little bit easier than they did this time, but most of them weren't that difficult, to be fair. The worst one actually was the one holding the front balance, not front balance, the grill on through the front balance. That was rusted solid, but once we got it off the car and on the bench, it was easy enough to get it off with a bit of persuasion. So hope you find that useful. See you again soon.